Hey, welcome everyone back to another episode of Energy Unleashed podcast with Suzanne and Kim. Hello, my lady.
My lady,
Yeah, it
wow.
sounded like the Renaissance fair. I don't even know where that came
I'm not
from.
sure how to respond to that.
Must be my mushroom shirt.
Is that what they are? Oh my God, that's funny.
Mushrooms. Maybe they're magic mushrooms. Who knows, right? That isn't what we were going to talk about
We're
today,
not
though.
going to talk
So
about
change.
plant medicine? Come on.
This is going to be actually pretty funny spin off of what we just said because I have had this actual client message pretty consistent for a long time. And I have this in my own head, and you're going to laugh when I say it out loud. I I know all of this. I just am not doing it,
Oh my God.
right?
Did you
Because
set this up to be my therapy session?
yes, and mine. I have had so many people go, and I'm like, you're not grounded. You're not in your bubble. Are you taking any quiet time? No. Are you doing anything that? No. And then they'll go, God, I know all this, but I'm just not doing it. And then that kind of hits me in the face, and I'm like, oh crap, I know all this too, and I'm just not doing it. So this is a very common theme. So I think we should unleash it because, and I'm not throwing you under the bus because we all do it. So why do you think people don't do what they should? Because first of all, it's a bad word, right?
Yeah.
Let's start there. Should is behind that concept of, I know all this, I'm just not doing it, and I should be.
Yeah. For me, I don't understand why I don't have the energy behind it to want to do it. You know what
Right?
I mean? So why am I not like embracing it and just doing it? I don't, what is that?
I think it starts with the word should, because if it's a should energy, which
Yeah.
is a fear-based fuel, versus a get to energy, let's just say I should be walking more every day. I know walking is going to help my hips. I understand it's going to strengthen my knees. I don't know what I know this. Why am I not doing it? Because I'm shoulding myself. I should be watching. I should be walking. I should be doing that exercise, right?
Mhm.
And until we somehow, some way in the mental field of our brain pattern go to, I get to walk every day to strengthen these knees. I get to do that, not I should, because if I should, it's another thing on my list. And I don't want to do something on my list that feels like it's from outside of myself to better myself because that means I'm broken. It's a loop that goes in our head.
Right. So the vibration of the words, is that different? That's different because in your head,
Huge.
you're doing a totally, yeah. So
So
I
even
get to,
say the word out loud right now, like what is one of your challenges? And well, we both are doing the walking thing. So, I should be walking at least, 3 times a week. Let's just say that word. That
I
phrase.
should be.
I should be walking 3 times a week.
There's no commitment to that word.
Well, and
Should.
there's like self-deprivation. It's like I'm depriving myself of having something, and it's just, and then it's tearing oneself down, et cetera, et cetera. So when we even just get to go, I get to walk 3 times a week
Yeah.
is already a jump. But then when it's like, oh no, 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 I'm choosing to walk 3 times a week. And if you were in mixed company and you're saying, no, I'm choosing to walk 3 times a week, it's almost like I better dang well walk because I just told everybody that I'm walking 3 times a week. And I told them that. I did it. I'm the one it's a different presentation of the whole concept.
It is. Like I said, the should, there's just no commitment behind it. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
even when you say the word, I should be walking, you, it isn't going anywhere. Like it's so interesting, the feeling of that. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna go do this now. I'm not
Yep.
gonna go do that.
And we don't understand how much things come out of our voice chakra, our throat voice chakra that determine our reality. We don't get that concept that the brain is doing a thought pattern, then the emotion is way down in that sacral, and whatever comes out here is going to, present itself in that bridge area to create matter, to have a reality, and we're constantly thwarting it by our words.
Mm. And we did this, we've done the words, how important words are, right?
Yep, we do.
That's
We have
it.
another
So
one
people
on
can
that.
go watch
Yep.
that another time, but words are super important,
Yes.
and how to do that. And I still catch myself saying should,
Yeah.
you know,
And it's funny because when one says that in my office, when a client says that in my office, I say, well, how's that working out for you? I mean, really smart ass,
Yeah.
return of, well, how's that working out for you if you know? Or how did you feel when you were doing that? So then we need to jump to the next level of owning the feels and owning the fact that I do feel better. Okay, I do feel better when I'm doing that. But this is way more complicated than that because that's easy peasy and it sounds super simple. And so I think we have to be really honest with any listeners out there that that's kind of just bullshit too, because it's very hard to have change in our life. So why is change so scary?
Oh,
Let's use a concrete one. I get to, or I need to, or I should work, walk every day, right?
mhm.
What is that going to change in your life that is scary?
What is the fear of that? I don't know what the fear of, like, what am I afraid of that I'm not getting out there and doing that?
Hmm.
Like, I mean, for me, I have a little bit of issue with my knees. And so I do, I had a terrible experience. I was out walking and my knees like totally stopped. Like I
Hmm.
couldn't go any further. And
Hence why we bring our cell phone.
yeah, and I had to hobble home that thing. So that would be fear for me.
Yep.
But to just like because I'm fully capable and I know I'll feel better and I'll feel stronger and it's obvious, but why is that energy not behind it for me to just take the steps?
Hmm. Literally, in this case,
Literally. Yeah.
take the steps. Because we don't know if it's going to be good for us. We don't know if it's going to hurt that day. I took a walk hoofing around probably quarter of a mile to a half mile the other day, and it was horrible. That particular day, my body felt like crap. If I did it today, I might feel totally different. I
Hmm.
was hobbling home by the end of it. I didn't feel like that when I left. Another time I could do that whole entire thing and then some and not have any trouble. We don't know what's happening, and that fear of the unknown is part of it. It really
Hmm.
is. Fear of change is part of it. I can maybe be a failure at this.
Hmm.
Change, fear of change is about failure and success. So those are the things also. We are constantly putting ourselves on eggshells about fear of failure and fear of success. Those are both the same on two sides of the coin. Victim controller, fear, success. Those are all kind of like the same thing, but other sides of it. So it's part of that too. I really am victimizing myself when I don't go because I deserve to not go because I deserve to not be that healthy. That's in there too. It's so many layers. This is
Hmm.
so many layers. And so, what the really scary one is, and we don't think about, is what does this unknown change do for me? What's going to happen? So I'm going to give you one that we talk about also, and a lot of clients are talking about. So many people since COVID sit in my office and say, I'm just drinking too much, or I'm smoking weed too much, or I'm doing whatever escapism it is too much, right? And I've really got to cut back. So what happens is we are also very comfortable in that mechanism because we want the escapism right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
So in order to make that change, it's really more important to get into why are you escaping in the first place, which is a completely different conversation and energetic than just I shouldn't drink that much or smoke that much
Hmm.
or eat that much. I have to get down to a 12 again and I'm a 18. I gotta not eat that much. What is also super scary is how's that going to change my life? I'm in this pattern right now. Even though I'm not happy, I'm comfortable.
Hmm.
So does that mean, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to hang out with my friends? Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to eat my favorite thing on all that is like blah, 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 in the head,
Yeah.
and it's all in the mental field.
Hmm.
Again, we have physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual fields. Our physical is the outcome of what's happening in that mental direction attached to the emotions and the feel centers with it. That's how we create, right? And spiritual is just the bigger piece. We can break our spirit, we can feed our spirit, etc. But when we're in that mental, emotional, and it's coming out in physical, we fight these two so much, and usually the mental wins.
Oh, it's true. I'm just
It's
thinking
so
about my
easy.
situation and I'm like, it's true. The mental, you talk yourself into whatever it is.
Yeah. And it's fine. I'm going to start tomorrow. And I am doing this. I'm just going to do it tomorrow. Or I just don't want to really ultimately not. God, what if I don't fit in my friend group? What if I'm at that family function and everyone's eating all the good stuff and I have to sit over here and have a carrot stick? I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to really, really rock the boat and change my life that much and eat a carrot stick eventually here. I don't know if that on and on and on. And that's the chatter that goes on. And it's
Yeah.
really important to get the feel center of the second. Because, and don't get me wrong, I'm not judging anybody. There's plenty of times when I know dang well that I'm plunked in front of Netflix. I've got a couple glasses of wine and I could give two shakes about it. I don't really care because I'm freaking tired. I worked all day, blah, blah, blah. The problem is if that becomes habitual because you're not in the feel of that moment. If you can 100% own it that day, and just go, I'm choosing this with any ramification, cause and effect there is, that's great. But if you're doing it because it's habitual and you haven't even thought about it or felt it, then
Yeah.
you're in trouble.
Yeah. And it goes back to changing those thoughts. Like the habitual habits, the thoughts aren't totally driving it, right? Is it more the emotion? Because you're not even thinking about what you're doing, you just do it.
Yeah, you're on autopilot at that
Autopilot.
point. So you're pulled back from both of them because if I was truly, truly feeling in the moment when I'm totally, totally zoned out and I wasn't happy really zoning out, because it's the fourth day in a row that I did it, because I'm
Hmm.
just now habiting it, right?
Hmm.
I would be going, my life is freaking boring right now. Is nothing is happening. This is just kind of really stupid. And this is sort of empty. And this is sort of abandonment of myself. And this is sort of not connecting to that's when somebody gets back in touch with it again, because and I can also sit and go, oh gosh, when I was pulling a tarot card every day. I really, really had, I was doing this morning meditation every day, even if it was for 10 minutes. I was committed to that and it put a different paradigm on things. I remember what that feels like and how my day played out. So it's a lot of adjustments to being present,
Hmm.
owning the true feel, not allowing the habit. But I cannot tell you how many people say that. I know all of this. I know if I pull a tarot card, I know if I do a morning meditation, I feel better. So it always comes down to, well, what do you want? Right?
Uh, and then you just have to be strong behind it though.
Well, on the other hand, do you? Because maybe I just want to unplug for a while. And if that lasts for 2 days, great. But
Hmm.
if it lasts for 2 years, then we've got a problem.
Hmm.
So again, it's ownership of the cause and effect. So sometimes I don't think it's bad to just unplug and not give a crap about anything because you also get to do that. But how long do you want to do that if you're truly connected to being present?
Oh gosh. This is okay. So now the motivation behind this, because I just talking about it, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And part of it, there's a big part of, especially Minnesota in the wintertime, the boredom, and getting connected or like hooked on what's going on in TV and all the things.
Yep.
It's so easy.
Well, look at us. I mean, we're both cabin girls next to each other up north. We are so itching to get out of here and go have our normal fun and hang out and do all the fun things up there versus sitting there catching up once a week going, God, what's that? Ugh. I mean, that is a part of Minnesota, or is it? Because
Uh,
we were laughing the other day. All of our kids were hockey players. They're all adults now, but our
yeah,
entire life was just entrenched in that because that's what you did for your kids.
yeah,
That was a different form of entertainment, a commitment, is a part of your life. I don't want to be running around doing hockey games at 65 years old, but it's a part of choice of life also. So it's constant change is what I'm getting at. It's constant change. And don't yearn for something or yearn for something
yeah,
either.
yeah.
I can't wait till it's summer so we can this, and I wish we could have had our kids still play. That's ridiculous. It doesn't even exist. This is the only thing that exists. So pull the feels, the experiences, the memories from all of this and come back here and go, well, what do I want today? I don't give a crap today. Okay, that's good. Or what do I want today? I am so going to go in and clean that bathroom because I'm tired of it today. And then all of a sudden when you're in the bathroom, then you're in the dining room and then you're up the stairs and then because that's how human bodies work. Once we're back on track, we're back on track.
Right. And it's interesting because I've read a few things that to set up that mindset, it starts in the morning.
Yeah.
Getting out of bed, doing the ritual type, whatever, that might be, but taking that quiet time
Yes.
initially, One, to just calm everything and be in a better place for the day, but two, just to do what do I want today?
Yep.
And to actually write it down or, have
Or
it
read it
in the
or think
forefront.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the day kind of falls in place beyond that because you've basically manifested your day.
And again,
You're
be
in it.
careful of how others that you live with will impact that. For example,
Derailment. Oof.
yeah, I mean, Chuck is a morning news person who sits in front of the blah 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 for hours, and I'm just like, oh my God, I just woke up. I don't want to hear that. So
No.
I escape into the study room, and I had a very, very, really, really honed practice of doing the meditative time in there. And then shit happens in life, right? I mean,
Mhm.
shit happens, and then all of a sudden, for 3 days, I'm checking my phone first thing. Well, then all of a sudden I'm on my phone checking crap. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, maybe I'll just look at that. And then you're off and running down that versus why aren't
Yeah.
you in here doing this? And again, it's a choice. So I think what's important though is please, and take what resonates, please consider not making everything I have to, meaning I don't have to meditate either. I mean, I don't have to check my phone as much as I don't have to meditate. It's I get to. And that's where the words come. We're going full circle with the conversation of I
Mhm.
get to go in here and have that couple minutes of quiet time. It isn't going to do, it's going to do something completely different for my start of the day, like you said.
Right.
So
Right.
I get to do that because I'm choosing it. So, but yeah, when you start to get sucked into all of a sudden you hear something on the news and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my God, what is happening?
Yeah.
What are they doing now?" And then your brain is off and running. So
And then I accomplished nothing for hours. Like it's
yeah.
just nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
And it's not all about accomplishing something either. It's really
No.
there's certain things that yes, I want and get to do. And then there's things that kind of fall in potentially that are opportunities. And again, that's change, but it's willing to be open-minded to go with that change. If a friend calls and is like, "Hey, let's go to lunch," and
Hmm.
you're in that, it depends on the place you're in and
Hmm.
what you did for your day to be willing to go with that flow or not. Um, or you need the quiet time and you don't,
Yeah.
whatever.
And
So,
it's all just choices. I mean, everything we do is choices. That's what's so important is to remember every single solitary thing we do is choices, and choices come with outcomes. Sometimes that's the cause and effect that we have to look at. Other times, no. So it's just really being present with that stuff. And not making everything the have tos. The have tos are so exhausting.
that's all I did for so many years.
Yeah.
Is like,
And examine where the have tos and the shoulds come from. This is where, we go back to belief systems, and every single choice is basically founded in a belief system. And so it's really kind of fun to be able to expand your belief systems.
Mhm.
So a lot of people my age, my age, are, having the menopausal tummy, all the women, and they're all like, how did I get so fat right here? Everything is so fat right here. Oh my God, I have to lose weight right here. I've tried everything and I can't lose weight right here. And one of the things that I have been dabbling with is instead of bashing myself constantly like all my clients are, and I'm doing it with my sisters and my friends, it's so automatic because it's like second menopause for many people. It's like, what is it? I think a lot of it is our solar plexus is changing. Our heart, solar plexus, and sacral is changing, especially on the female body. And there's a lot of protection right now. And a lot of people are gaining weight in that specific area. Men, when I was small, used to have huge bellies like that. When I was small, men had big, huge bellies like that. Now, a lot of the men are not having that same shape, and the women are picking it up. And this has to do with an evolution of the energy. It's very interesting to me. So instead of bashing myself 24/7, I'm also allowing myself to think a little bit bigger about that. Well, just because you're that right now today doesn't mean that you're that tomorrow or next year either, right? And
Mhm.
instead of staying in a negative form of that, it's like, well, then let's go do these, 5 crunches, or maybe I do 5 every time I think about it instead of 250 at one fell swoop. It's modifying the belief systems so that we can take a better look at how it relates to what we're accomplishing for the dues, instead of having to. It's,
Do you think that the change, like when, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, when the female energy came forward again? that that we're struggling to make that part of us now? Like, do you think that's kind of a protective thing too?
Well, first and foremost, personal opinion again. First and foremost, women are so much, have been so much more awakened for faster than
Yeah,
men on this
right.
process and have been for quite some time. So the human form of the woman is way ahead of the male in the transmutation of all of these energies. And so when we're taking, something from the heart chakra that is our cosmic self, we're a micro of the macro. So everything in the ethers is changing and becoming embodied in the physical plane differently. And we're a little microcosm of that. Additionally, the solar plexus has been very programmed for male energy. And when the female has been coming in, we're transmuting that into a completely different frequency. And most of it is happening in the female bodies, right?
Mhm.
Because we're the ones that are doing the majority of the work. And I'm not bashing men, it's just that we have been the holder of that space. So
Mhm.
now we're having to change belief systems. So we're, getting to change belief systems, caught myself. Belief systems, feelings, activating feel centers. And so it's almost like the belly of women is pushed up. It's almost like we all feel like we're choking, way up into that rib cage area and getting fat there because no one understands what's happening. And I think a lot of it has to do with the energies, and we're still in protection mode because we are protecting how the body's transmuting. So I've been doing little bits. I'm not great at this by any means, but
Yeah.
I've been doing much more bits and pieces of, well, you're also doing some really big work with this body. So maybe to help you on your little micro, do 4 more push-ups when you're walking up the steps, do 4 more leg raises before you get out of bed. So little bits and pieces of efforts are helping my psyche with not completely hating what I'm looking at in the mirror when I get out of the shower kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yes, I find myself not looking in the mirror a lot lately. So
Yeah, and
that's
a
part of
lot
it.
of people are. So many women too. So many women. And it's the same line. I already know all this. Of course I should cut my carbs. But really, should I? Because is that even the thing right now? Because I'm telling you, it's insane. Our bodies are not reacting the way that they used to.
No.
So even all of the old things that we used to do don't work. So when I say I already know that, I used to do that, doesn't mean it's going to work now because a lot of our bodies aren't working the same way. No supplements work the normal way in my body.
Mhm.
No, even like technical medicines that do this for somebody, they all do this for me. And it's like nothing is working the way that it's supposed to because we're transitioning. And I don't think that there's the magic bullet anymore. I don't think, and sadly, and I'm going to sound so crass and horrible right now. Sadly, a lot of the people that are having great success with weight loss for all the new things that they're injecting themselves with, be very careful because your body eventually is going to, the day you stop is going to go, well, what the heck? Now I have to catch up. Now I
Mhm.
have to go back. Now I have to reorganize. Now I have to, and don't think that that isn't something I want to run and ask my doctor to do for a quick fix. I mean, I would love that,
I
right?
know, right?
And I understand a lot of people are doing it for health benefits. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that's another trickster energy of I want it really fast and I want it done now.
Mhm.
Transmutation on our planet, ascension on our planet is 26,500 year cycles of sorts. It's not that it's going to take that long to drop some weight. God forbid. But these are things that are happening in a really big scope, and our little bodies are a representation of a fractal of that.
Right. Oh, it's so much. Yeah, like you said, the energy changes, the roller coaster that we're on. I
It's
think there is a
overwhelming.
little bit of protection happening for everyone
Yep.
around, what the body's trying to do. But
Well,
this,
and think of it, Kim, that's your physical chakras. And if the physical plane of existence that we're attached to is changing so rapidly, it's like we're hanging on for dear life in gravity form of sorts. So there's a
yeah,
lot of weight on people because they don't know where they're going right now,
that's true.
energetically,
It's
right?
true. And
So
what's to come, if you go too far into the future, and start to analyze kind of where we're at now, what it looks like, you can go crazy trying to figure that out. And that's a whole nother stress to your body
exactly.
that impacts, how we function. So
And there has to be a healthy balance with everything. That also doesn't mean I'm going to just throw the baby out with the bathwater and eat pizza and pasta every single night because I don't freaking care because I'm a micro of the macro. That
Right.
isn't necessarily good either because what we want to do is we want to feel. We want to feel. Oh my God, like I don't do well with corn products. And I ate a ton of corn chips the other night and I knew I was going to feel like crap. And I did. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You did it. But in the moment in time, it felt great. Did I feel like shit later? Yeah. And so that's cause and effect, right?
Yep.
So if you're going to eat like crap all the time consistently because you don't care, then you do deserve the outcome. You know, if you're going to drink yourself or smoke yourself to death every single night, you're going to have the hangover and eventually the liver. So
Mhm.
these are balanced things. Do we have the right to step out and actually hide some nights? Sure. If it's a habit, however, or an actual addiction, that is a different story because it is owning that as well. So there's balance in every single thing that we're doing,
Mhm.
you know?
Right. Right. No, I have some habits right now, that definitely are part of wanting to change, and move forward out of. So this is really, this is a great spring topic,
Yeah.
especially for anyone who's living in an area where the weather is kind of crazy. So,
And
uh,
baby steps is important. Again, even with spring cleaning, oh my God, my entire house is full of cobwebs. We live in Minnesota. Good God, how am I ever going to do this? Well, don't worry about it. Just do one room.
yeah.
Just do one room because inevitably, when you're in one room and it smells and it's so fresh and it's clean, you look at the next room and go, okay, I could just do maybe a little bit of that one, or whatever. So that's usually when I go bonkers, but I don't do the whole house. I used to kill myself
Oh,
and
I
now I
know.
don't. I parcel things out. And so it's about just changing the energy of your mind, your body, and your spirit in the moment. And that goes with I don't have to just jump into 20 minutes or 40 minutes of meditation every single morning and do my yoga poses, but I can pull an angel card and see what I think because that may lead to me choosing to go do a yoga pose. So it's commitment and depends on the level of the commitment and what the outcome is.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's changing, like you said, beliefs of I used to kill myself cleaning the house all at one time. I really love a house when it's all clean, right?
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened for a while because my body, it doesn't do it anymore.
No.
My body's like, who the hell do you think you are? And I'm like, 29-year-old just getting this
Yep.
stuff done.
I was
And
laying on the ground on my massage thingy going, what is happening to my lower back? Whose is this?
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I never had the lower back crap going on. So it's and again, there's another layer, right? There's another layer of I shouldn't be doing this because
I know.
yeah,
My
it's
brain is not connected right with age
yeah.
limitations. But
So again, I think I know all of this is a funny line because do I really know it? Because do I even know what is good for me anymore? Because if I knew all of this even 10 years ago, or even maybe 2 months ago, maybe that isn't what's good for me right now.
yeah.
And so this is a really funny line that I get through. And I, again, cannot tell you how many times I hear it. I know all of this, and then the but is in like capital letters. I just don't do it. And and then they just look at you and they're just staring at you like I just don't do it. And
Yeah.
that's
Can you
yeah.
fix that for me? Can you just fix
Yeah. Yeah,
it?
can you fix it? Give me a pill. Give me the magic pill. This is, I think, the problem too, is that we have been so trained to have the magic bullet, the magic pill, the magic ending, the magic injection, the magic whatever, therapist, energy worker, blah, blah. I mean, we all think that everything's supposed to fix things. And in fact, I literally just texted a client about an hour and a half ago and said, it's the journey. It's not the ending of the thing that you're looking for. Your head's in the wrong spot. Stay in the journey
Yeah,
of the change, not the end result.
right.
It's hard
It's hard to do. It's
because we
hard to
want it and
do.
we want it now, but we don't know what we want, but we know that we want it now.
Yeah. Things are not as simple as they used to be either. So, of course, it's going to be different for you now than it was 10 years ago or 5 years ago, whatever.
Or yesterday,
Yeah,
right?
not as
Because
simple.
even our bodies, like you said with the Schumann, even the bodies are so reactive so differently. And I can eat this or drink this or smoke this or run this or don't run this or work this and not work this. And I can feel completely different this day than I can this day
Hmm.
because the actual thing around me that's supporting everything is affecting the body. Not to mention my cell structure is constantly changing. So it's very, very difficult.
Oh, it is. Gosh.
Yeah.
A good topic because
Yeah.
it's perfect for here we are, you know.
I don't know if it makes anybody feel better or worse, but it is what it is, right?
Well, it's something to think about. It's really important,
Yeah.
to because when you're in that habit, when you're in that routine, while you're bored and you're not sure why you keep doing it, I mean, this kind of takes you out of that comfort zone a little bit to think about how to move forward.
And again, just watch the escapism. I mean, that's what we started with the magic mushroom shirt. A lot of people are dabbling with so many um, plant medicines also and
Mm.
microdosing and doing so many things and do what you want. I'm not here to tell you how to live, but just be careful that you're doing it in productive ways and safe ways versus escapism because that's just another form of, I'm not attached, I'm not present, I'm not here.
Right.
So look at those as well. Ayahuasca's all of a sudden going through the roof. I'm doing ayahuasca tonight at a party. It's like, oh God, what are you thinking? So even the plant medicines and the really the THC stuffs and the drinks and the da, 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 there's so much that's coming out and available so quickly for escapism. I'm all for escaping periodically, but if you're escaping consistently, then it's a red flag to just look at what's the belief underneath. So be aware
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. No, totally makes sense.
All right, let's
Yeah,
go meet up.
I
Let's
know
go
all
meet
these
up for a
things,
cocktail
Suzanne.
after we're done.
I know all these things, but I'm not doing them.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go run 5 miles. We're gonna round this down. Right?
Yeah. Get
Okay,
done when
maybe
you're
hit the
done.
share button, the like button, and maybe the subscribe would really, really good and leave a comment. Tell us how wonderful you are at this or not, right?
Oh, that'd be great. We want to
Yeah,
hear comments. We want to hear ideas.
yeah, for sure.
That'd be fantastic.
All right, until next, Cosmic Hugs.
Goodbye.